Welcome back to the Spread Pick'em Show with Mike and Andrew. It is week 11 here in the NFL. Andrew, how you doing, buddy? Justin Verlander is an Astro. How are you feeling?
It's all right. It's just an old man who really cares.
Wow. He
No,
might
it's a
have
little
something.
disappointing. I don't. The pitching market is not huge, so it would have been nice to snag someone like that who has proven at an old age that he can perform at a high level. So it would have been nice, but we move on to the next guy.
We should have snagged ourselves a Cy Young winner Robbie Ray last year while we could.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
anyway, all right, let's get to last week. We tied in record, as I said, so I still lead on the season by one game over you. So I'm feeling not feeling good, but it could be worse. So Thursday Night Football. And the streak continues, Andrew, how I can't pick a Thursday night game right from my life. You are now 8-2, I believe, on the year for Thursdays.
I
And
am. I
I'll be
am.
2-8 if I had to guess. So not very good. But you took the Dolphins, who won outright. So you got that one. I took Washington. You took the Buccaneers. The football team won outright. So I got that one, luckily. We both took the Lions, who tied. So that was, of course, a win for us. This one I got lucky with. Well, not lucky, but it was a close one. I took the Saints and you took the Titans, and it was a 3-point spread, and the Saints lost by 2. So luckily I got that one. Atlanta at Dallas. Definitely not a good pick by me. You took Dallas, though, so, shout out to you. I took the Browns. You took the Patriots. You felt great about the Patriots. I give you credit there. The Browns were never close in that game whatsoever. Buffalo and the Jets, we both like Buffalo a lot, got that one. I mean, you basically predicted Mike White very correctly, saying that he would have a very rough game, and that was definitely
Yeah.
true, as we saw. Jacksonville and Indianapolis, both took Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville lost by 7, and they were 10.5-point underdogs, so we got that one right. Now, this one, Andrew, what happened with the your Chargers? This you felt pretty confident, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and I'm just such a great person that
Oh,
you
yeah.
forgot
Yep.
that we made a bet, and I still, gave him the $10 after the fact, which he gave me $10 already for his Jersey Mike sandwich. So I basically paid for his Jersey Mike sandwich,
That's
which
actually
it
true.
was a little unfortunate, but I did feel good about the Chargers, and I don't know what happened to them. They've fallen off a cliff, and they just don't look like themselves anymore.
That gluten-free bread costs $2 extra too, so it was definitely $10, well worth it.
Yeah.
But I was gonna make a reference to a song. I was gonna say, "I told you." Wait, how did it go? Fuck, I forget now. I was
I
gonna make like,
told you long
yeah.
ago.
Here we
Yeah,
go.
that one.
I told you long ago on this show the Vikings were gonna win on the road. That kind of
Wow.
shit. Yeah,
Look at that rendition.
I'm pretty good. Yeah, I should be a singer one day.
Guys, please don't
Um,
click off. Stay on the video.
Yeah,
Don't click
whatever.
off.
Who cares? Carolina at Arizona. I took Carolina, who won by a lot. I did, I thought it'd be a
Yeah.
close game, and you actually bullied me into taking Carolina off my favorite bets. So I hate you for that. But you took the Cardinals there, so I'll take the dub. This one though, Philadelphia at Denver. Now, before I say anything, Melvin Gordon stinks. Can't stand the guy.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it should be Javonte Williams' season. But yes, your Eagles had a nice little 14-point victory or something over there. So you got the win there. I was wrong. I had Denver as a favorite bet because once again, you pressured me into it. So bad idea. Seattle at Green Bay. We both took Seattle. And if there's one thing I know about betting, Andrew, it's tough to cover spreads when you score 0 points. So
Yeah, you're right.
Seattle did not help whatsoever. KC at Las Vegas, both took the Chiefs, got that one. And then for Monday night, the Rams. Are the Rams bad now? What's going on there with the Rams? Is it Odell's fault? What's going on here?
I don't know what's going on. I can't really predict the Rams. I mean, if you look at the up and down their schedule, their wins haven't been against great teams. Every time they've played like a decent team or a really good team, they've kind of struggled. So maybe that's just how we have to treat them now. But I did take Rams 3.5, and I was pretty sure on that Monday that it was going to happen, but that 3.5 spread just seemed too low, and it seemed like a trap game. And in the back of my head, I knew that the 49ers were the way to go, but you know what? It happens.
Got to be Aware of those trap games out here. All right. So, with that said, that's going to do it for week number 10's recap. And now for week number 11. And let me say, we're already against each other on Thursday. So, I'm going to start out 0-1
Nice.
as the week hasn't even begun yet. So, the New England Patriots, who are now like the hottest team in football, according to some people. I don't know if I fully buy in, but they're pretty impressive so far. They're at the Atlanta Falcons, rematch of Super Bowl, whatever it was. I don't know, 2016, 28-3. We get all the jokes. New England's a -7 here. I'm taking Atlanta, and you're going to go with the Patriots.
Yeah, I mean the bottom line is I've started 8-0. I've 1-0 8 times this year. Thursday
Feels
night
good.
has just been my thing this year. I can't really explain it. I just go with my gut, and I do take into consideration to these games Thursday night because teams are coming off of short weeks, and I think what I think will perform better in the short week. And in this one, I think it's the Patriots because I think overall, except for their quarterback, they're a pretty experienced team, if you will. A lot of people that have experienced short rest, and I know their most important position is a rookie and hasn't experienced this 4-day rest. But the New England Patriots are the hottest team in the league right now. They score a tremendous amount of points. And I thought that they were a playoff team. I said it, I think, 2 weeks ago. I don't know if I said it here, but I did say that they were a playoff team 2 weeks ago, and I'm going to ride with it. Atlanta's not a good team. We saw what happened against the Cowboys. I just think New England is a really good team. So I think they're a touchdown better than the Falcons. I don't think home field really plays a role into this one. So I'm going to go with my gut, and that says the Patriots road to 9-2.
Hmm. I mean, the reason I'm picking Atlanta is pretty simple. It's just that I think no one out there is going to pick the Falcons, and Vegas always wins in the end. So I'm going to take Atlanta. I don't really have much of an argument, honestly. I mean, I could use the excuse of like, oh, as you said, Mac Jones is a rookie, has not experienced the 4-day rest yet. Matt Ryan's been in the league for 100 years, and he's been here before. And Atlanta's the home team, and we see these crazy Thursday night games all the time. Go back to last week, for instance. We saw one that we did not expect, and I don't expect Atlanta to win, but I just feel like right now the Patriots, they might take this game a bit lightly here, and I just hope Matt Ryan doesn't crap the bed 2 weeks in a row. He had 115 yards and 2 interceptions last week against the Cowboys, and that was just pitiful. So it does seem like Cordero Patterson has a chance to play. That helps me a lot, of course. I saw a stat today that Kyle Pitts has he's supposed to positively regress in the touchdown category at some point. I heard that on a fantasy podcast.
Really?
So hopefully Kyle Pitts can find the end zone here. So, yeah, I mean, look, I don't feel great about it. And Atlanta's defense, they weren't god awful up until this week. And I just hope they can kind of get back to what they were. And if they just hold the Patriots offense to like 21 points, I'll feel pretty good about it. So, Atlanta, just don't turn the ball over again, and, hopefully they'll be all right. But I do expect the Patriots to win. But I just don't see another person out there taking Atlanta. So that's pretty much my reasoning for this pick here, which
To
is probably not the best.
to back up your logic, I did look up the betting trends so far for this game. 83% of the people have taken the Patriots, and honestly, in recent times, I would usually agree with you. Like I try and bet against the trend, so maybe you do have something here. Maybe you can get your third win or whatever you
Yeah,
have.
could this be the week? We'll find out. I might actually
Yeah.
just bet it for real and just put actual money on it just to be even more invested. But we'll see what happens there on Thursday. All right. Next game here on the Sunday, the San Francisco 49ers are at the Jacksonville Jaguars. San Francisco's on -6. We're both going to take Jacksonville here. Look at that. We took them both
Wow.
last week. We're doing it again.
I really did not expect this from you. I expected a game where you asked me, why are you going with Jacksonville?
Nah.
Thought it was going to be another one of those games, but I'm glad you're going Jacksonville because I do think it makes sense. San Francisco gets a big win over a good team. Everybody's riding high on the 49ers, but Jacksonville has gotten better every single week so far. They have really shown that they can compete against some pretty good teams and keep the game relatively close. They have a game at home. I still really don't respect the 49ers that much, even after a win against the Rams. I think Jacksonville keeps it close, or maybe this is a backdoor cover. Either way, I like them +6.
Yeah, I'm with you, honestly. I mean, it's going to be one of those, you can use the narrative of like, oh, the West Coast team going to the East. It's like a 10 a.m. game. You can say that as well. You talked about San Francisco. They are on a short week and coming off like their Super Bowl so far this year. It was a big win for them. And while, like the Patriots, I do expect the Niners to win this game, but it's going to be like just a weirdly close game for some reason. And I mean, Jacksonville still has weapons, and you can run on San Francisco. I mean, we didn't see it much on Monday night because, the Rams were down most of that game, but you can run on them. They're like a middle-of-the-pack run defense, and James Robinson is a good running back, so hopefully they can kind of control the clock there for Jacksonville. And Jacksonville's defense has been playing a lot better lately, I must say. They allowed 23 points to the Colts, which is not the worst thing in the world. It was mostly Jonathan Taylor. They allowed 6 points, of course, to the Bills. They got destroyed by Seattle. I get that one. But they've won their last 2 home games. Now, one of them was at London, but I'm going to use that stat to my advantage. They are 2-0 in their past 2 home games. So maybe there's some type of magic there right now for Jacksonville at home. So I don't know. I still think the Niners win, but it just seems like like a letdown spot kind of for the Niners, but a letdown spot where they'll win. I'll put it that way. So I think it's going to be kind of close here. Next, we're on to the Washington football team. This game is just revenge game galore out here. I love it. Washington's at Carolina. Carolina's a -3.5 here. I'm going to go with Washington for whatever reason, and you're going to go with the Carolina Panthers here.
Yeah, I feel like there's some uncertainty with Carolina. I know they are coming off the big win, and like the last game, San Fran versus Jacksonville, I really don't like to ride whoever won big the next week. But I'm going to take Carolina here. I do think it's low enough for them to cover, and I think the uncertainty of P.J. Walker and I think Cam Newton at this point, I think that plays to their advantage. I think Washington, again, coming off of a big win themselves against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that also helps me. I think Carolina is going to cover this game. I really am starting to question why it's this low. Carolina's home. I thought they would be around a 5-point favorite, but we're sitting at 3.5. Carolina's defense has played pretty well. Washington defense lost their best player, and they were still playing really, really bad so far this year. I think Carolina puts up points. I think they rule the time of possession, and I think they win this game by about a touchdown.
Was the pun intended there with the rule? Was it R-H-E-L-E?
No. It could have been. Yeah, it was.
I was like, that was pretty good, Andrew. All right, but I guess you didn't know that. All right, from Washington's defense, they've been a bit better lately. Of course, holding Tampa to 19. They held Denver to 17. Green Bay to 24, like in recent weeks. So their defense, while it's not good, I mean, they've been better, I will say. And I don't really know I can't really trust this Cam Newton-led Panthers offense in its first week. Sure, Cam Newton looked good on the goal line, but that's pretty much all we saw from him. Like last time Cam Newton was playing, he was spiking footballs into the ground and missing guys. Like, I don't really think Cam Newton's that great of a passer these days. I mean, maybe you can prove me wrong, but it's been a long time since we've seen Cam Newton be like a good pocket passer out here. And as I said, it's revenge game galore out here, and I would just be surprised if Ron Rivera just has a bad game plan against his former team, obviously. I don't know. I just feel like it's going to be one of those close games, and getting a 3.5 definitely influenced my decision. If it was 3, I may have went with Carolina, but that half a point right there makes me feel like this could be a field goal game, and I still don't know who's going to win it. So with that being said, I'll just take Washington. They did lose Chase Young, which sucks, but sometimes teams rally around that and have better weeks in, the next week, and sometimes it hurts them. So we'll see what happens there, but I do think Taylor Heinicke and the risk-taking that he does take, it's going to help at some points in this game. I think Carolina will at least get 1 turnover in this game, I must say. But there is more upside with a guy like Heinicke as compared to Cam Newton, because Cam Newton does not pass the ball downfield. So I will just go with Washington there, and hopefully they find a way to at least cover. I want them to lose, of course, but hopefully they lose by a field goal. All right, so on to Green Bay. They are at Minnesota here. So Green Bay is a -2.5 on the road. I was very back and forth. I can make arguments for both teams, but I'm just going to go with the better quarterback. Give me the Packers, and so are you.
All right, yeah, I felt like you might have gone with the Vikings here. And to be honest with you, I couldn't blame you at this point because the Vikings have just covered games that I really thought they shouldn't have the entire year. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they covered this game either. 2.5 points for Green Bay, who they consider as one of the best teams in the league. It's a little short. And Aaron Rodgers has played in Minnesota countless times in his career. I don't think he's going to struggle there. I just don't know where this line is at. I like that Green Bay is getting the field goal because I can see this game being a field goal apart. So if it was 3.5, I really tell you, I think I would pick Minnesota. But since I'm getting that field goal, I'm going to go with Green Bay. They are one of the better teams in the league, and I think Minnesota kind of calms down this week. And I think Green Bay wins this game.
Yeah, I'm with you, honestly. It should be close, but just thinking about like Minnesota always does some dumb stuff at the end of a game to like lose, and I could see that happening here. Now, it kind of hurts that Mason Crosby's been kind of trash lately, so I hope
Yeah.
he doesn't have a bad field goal game in here. But the Packers defense deserves some love. Looking at some of the point totals the past few weeks here, of course, shutting out Seattle. I know Russell Wilson wasn't 100%, but that's still impressive, holding anyone to zero these days in the NFL. They held the Kansas City Chiefs, who, they didn't have Rodgers that day, but their defense played well, held Kansas City's offense to 13, held Kyler Murray and the Cardinals offense on that Thursday night game to 21, held Washington to 10, and the Bears to 14. So their defense is playing very well. I don't know about the availability. I saw Rashawn Gary was like kind of in like the tunnel at one point and looked injured. I'm not sure if he's available. Hopefully he is, but yeah, their defense is playing very well. And when it comes to Aaron Rodgers against these NFC North teams, it always seems like Aaron Rodgers does come out on top more times than not. And Aaron Rodgers, is looking at it, I think, has won like 8 straight games now this year, because the one game they lost, or 7 straight, whatever it is, the one game they lost, of course, was Jordan Love. So Aaron Rodgers has won every game he's been in since week 2. And they just find a way. Like, I don't think the Packers are the greatest team. Like, you can make an argument, honestly, that the Vikings just have played better football than the Packers this year. It's just that the Vikings have no idea how to close out games. And if the Vikings did close out games, they may be a 6 or 7 win team right now. But the Packers have that veteran quarterback. Not to say Kirk Cousins is not, but for some reason, Aaron Rodgers always finds a way to get it done. So with that said, I'll take the Packers, but it probably should be close. But it is less than a field goal, so screw it. Give me the Packers there.
Yep.
On to the Detroit Lions. They're at the Cleveland Browns. The Lions coming off their first non-loss of the season. Congrats to them. Cleveland is a -11. I wish it was -10. But anyway, we're both going to take the Browns here.
Wow. Yeah, I'm glad you're taking the Browns. And I think it's the right pick, because I'm going to ride the roller coaster, which is the Browns this year. Okay? They get a big win. They get a huge loss. They get a big win. They get a huge loss. We're ready for that big win. And I think it's a domination spot for them here. I think Detroit is finally going up on people's radars. They're probably the best no-win team ever. But at the same time, Cleveland needs to prove that they're still a good team. And I do think they're a good team, but I just have not seen the consistency that I want. Odell's out of there. Where's your excuse now? You said he was the problem, and as soon as he's left, you score 7 points and get blown out by practically 40 points. I am going to take Cleveland. I think it's a big win. I'm hoping it is, because this Detroit Lion team, as much magic as they have had so far this year in keeping games close, the Browns are simply a better team. They're one of the most talented rosters in all of football. I'm going to take them covering the 11 points. I think they win this game by about 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I'm pretty much with you there, honestly. I mean, Nick Chubb should be back from COVID, and I just looked it up. The Lions are allowing the 3rd most rushing yards per game on defense, and it should be one of those games where it's the type of game plan the Browns want, which is don't put too much on Baker Mayfield's plate. And by the way, I feel bad for Baker. He's definitely like just not healthy at all. He's just out there like just I don't know. I feel like he should not be out there, but Case Keenum's arm is shot at this point in his career, so it is what it is. I guess one arm Baker's better. So I think Nick Chubb might have one of those games where it's like 22 carries, 140 yards, and 2 touchdowns, and they pretty much just – like I think the Browns' defense has a massive week. I've tried to pick them up in every fantasy league I'm in right now because Jared Goff has his oblique injury, and they suck anyway on offense. And if you shut down DeAndre Swift, you should be fine. I think the Browns have athletic enough safeties and linebackers to take care of TJ Hawkinson. So I don't really know how the Lions have a consistent offense in this game. I just don't see it happening. I just think the Browns will hold them to like, I don't know, 10 points or less potentially. And if that's the case, you're not asking much from the Browns offense. They'll run the ball very well. The play action with Baker Mayfield or Case Keenum should work. And I think Cleveland wins by, as you said, 2 touchdowns. So I like them a lot in this game, honestly, especially at home, by the way. All right. Indianapolis. This is a playoff matchup from last year. The Indianapolis Colts are at the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo is a -7, which was surprising. And I'm surprised you're with me on this one. We're both going to take Buffalo here.
Yeah, I've been a Colts guy all year long, practically. I think they are an underrated team, but I think Vegas is starting to catch up a little bit, and I think they're starting to realize that Indianapolis can compete with almost anybody. But that Buffalo loss against the Jaguars is a scar, and they're not going to take teams lightly anymore. They're going to try, and they're going to play their hardest every single game. I truly do believe it. Buffalo needs to climb that hierarchy that they left as soon as they lost to the Jaguars. They need to get that respect back. I think this is a good team to do it against. Indianapolis has not been great against bad offenses. Hasn't been great on defense and has been letting up a lot of points to bad offenses. You saw it with the Jets. The Jaguars were able to put some drives together last game. Their defense is just not that great, and they're facing one of the best offenses in the league. I think it's a 10-point win spot for the Bills. Not to mention, the Bills' defense has been awesome, and Carson Wentz does have those flustery interceptions at points in the game. I think it hurts them. I think they win this game by double digits. I'm going to ride the Bills.
You couldn't talk there for another 2 seconds. No, I'm kidding. All right, so I'm going to go with Buffalo as well. And if you look at some of the recent matchups for both of these teams, they played a lot of crappy teams. Like the Colts have came off games against the Jets, of course, on Thursday night. Then they just played Jacksonville. So very easy matchups. Then look at the Bills. They've played the Jets recently, Jacksonville, Miami. So neither of these teams have had like a real matchup in the past like 3 or 4 games here. So this is like a big matchup for both of them. And Jonathan Taylor has been just a madman this year, but I don't think the Bills are going to allow that this week. Now it could happen because he's just that talented and the Colts offensive line's that great. But they will probably go all out to try and stop him. And if you can stop the run against this team, can Carson Wentz, I think it's in Buffalo, right? Yeah, in Buffalo. Yep. Can Carson Wentz in Buffalo beat this team? Not the best conditions probably as we were now in November. Can Carson Wentz beat you in Buffalo passing the ball 40, 45 times a game? I have a hard time believing that. And we talked about the Colts defense. They're not really as great as we expected coming into the year. So I do think Josh Allen and the Bills offense puts up some points. We saw everyone on Buffalo get involved last week. Even Matt Breida was out there scoring touchdowns against the Jets. So I do think the Bills win this game, and I just feel like at first glance they want us to take the Colts, and I'm trying to outsmart Vegas once again. So I'm like, you know what? Let's go with Buffalo. I know last year's playoff matchup was very close. It was actually a very winnable game for the Colts, but that was Phillip Rivers. So it's a different scenario here, a different guy, and I just think Buffalo hopefully wins this game by more than a touchdown. Next we have your team. Not the Saints, but the Saints are at the Philadelphia Eagles here. Philly. Philadelphia is a -2. Holy crap. Why is Philadelphia favored over the Saints? That's what you're taking the Saints too, by the way, but this doesn't make sense to me. I love the Saints in this game.
Well, Philly is an awesome team, and they've shown that thus far.
Great. Yeah.
All right. I'm not going to change mid-show here because I did pick the Saints, and I'm going to stick with the Saints. But at the same time, Mike, you have no place to talk about this Philadelphia Eagles team. They have proved you wrong time and time again. You were so confident with the Broncos last week. They lost by double digits. I've had enough of your Eagles slander. With that being said, I will take the Saints +2. I just think the Saints are competing for more at this point in the year. I do think the Eagles could make a late rush because their schedule is not hard. Right? If they could somehow maybe pull out a win here, they can get something rolling and possibly snag a wild card spot, as impossible as that sounds. You look at their schedule, they have the second easiest in the whole NFL. So I do think it's possible, but I think New Orleans right now has more to play for. They're coming off of a loss. Their defense plays very, very well against Philadelphia. Now, I will say this. Jalen Hurts did make his first start in the NFL against the Saints last year, and they did win by a field goal, right? And that was a game where – I'm not going to lie, I'm a big Carson Wentz fan. So Jalen Hurts performing the way that he did in that game didn't make me so happy because I kept claiming that the same thing that happened to Wentz would happen to Jalen Hurts once Hurts went in. And obviously that was not the case. So maybe there's a little bit of an adjustment period where the Saints can't quite figure out Jalen Hurts and they struggle against him. But I do think, again, the Saints defense has just been playing really, really well all year long. Their offense is a huge question mark, which is why this game was 50-50 for me. I do like that Philadelphia gets the field goal because I do think they could win by a field goal. But I think New Orleans, as sad as it is going to outright win the game.
I wish you took the Eagles. Are you sure you don't want to change?
Nah, I'm good.
All right.
No, we're in a crucial spot. We're one game apart. I need to get them right. I can't go off of emotion.
Fair enough. So you have the Eagles coming off. How many wins in a row do the Eagles have?
I don't
just
know.
One. All right, just one win. But they've been playing better recently, I will say. They just lost to the Chargers by 3, so that was a very close game. So they almost won 3 in a row. You look at the Saints, they've lost 2 in a row here, and they were close games. They've lost by a combined 5 points in those 2 games. This is a well-coached team. We know who Sean Payton is. Yes, Trevor Siemian is the quarterback there for this. I had to say.
My mother watches this show.
Jesus. I'll try to edit
Disgusting
that out.
Disgusting human being.
Just kidding. I won't. But anyway,
you pronounced it
Trevor
wrong.
Siemian is the quarterback for the Saints now, and he hasn't looked terrible. Like, he got Traquan Smith a touchdown. He had that nice throw to Callaway in the end zone last game. Like, he's competent. He's fine, for this offense. I'm actually kind of surprised Taysom Hill has not taken over yet, but they must like him over there. So anyway, I saw a stat that the Saints right now have like the best rush defense this far into a season, like since 2006. Their rush defense is just unbelievable this year. And their secondary with Lattimore and Gardner Johnson and all those guys, they're playing very well. I just think it's going to be a very tough game for the Eagles offense. And I think this game, low-key, might be a very low-scoring game. I don't know what the over-under is for the total, but I'd probably bet the under here because I don't see that many points happening. This should not be a Jordan Howard 12 for 84. This should not be a Boston Scott 10 for 76 type game. They will have trouble running the ball, and a lot of it's going to be in Jalen Hurts' hands. And look, we saw last week, even though Jalen Hurts played well, and I've said that before, he did throw a terrible interception in that game to who was it to? Was it to the rookie? What the hell is his name? Surtain? I think it might have been. I forget now. But anyway,
I don't think so.
He threw a pick last week, and it was an ugly-looking one. And I think Jalen Hurts has looked better as a passer, but he does have the ability to make mistakes, and he has to put his team on his back in a game like this. So with that being said, I like the matchup for New Orleans, and they may be a favorite bet this week.
I really like it, Mike. I really like the argument that you put out there. I do. I can't even fault you, because if you do look at the Eagles offense, they have run the ball. They have run the ball a lot more recently, and it's worked. I think since week 4, they have the best rushing attack in the NFL, as crazy as that sounds. They average like 40 touches a game now when they were averaging like 5. But when it comes down to Jalen Hurts' arm, because they're not going to be able to rush as well because Miles Sanders is still out, right? So they're not going to be able to rush the ball as well because they're playing, like you said, a historic rush defense. And when the ball is in Jalen Hurts' hands, can he go out there and win a ball game against a playoff team in the New Orleans Saints, essentially? I don't know if he could do it. I haven't seen it yet. That's why I'm going with you.
You just sound like a bad fan.
I'm a realistic fan. That's what we're about on this show. We are realists. We're not biased. We're realists.
I will say, though, there was a quarterback in the NFC East who may be in his 3rd year and runs really fast, and he may have went to New Orleans in like week 4 and beat the Saints in overtime. I'm not going to say who it was, but there was a certain quarterback in the NFC East who did that.
Wait, that was after the loss of the Falcons, right? I don't remember.
All right, on to the next game. Actually, no. You're an ass. I actually wanted to ask you because you brought up Miles Sanders. I did trade for Miles Sanders when he was injured because I have one team out of 3 doing well in fantasy this year, so I traded for the injured Miles Sanders. And is he due back this week? Because I would like to have him. When's he coming back?
I think he got on his – I think they call it the 21-day schedule. Like
IR.
I don't think they're going to rush him back this week because their rushing offense has been pretty effective up to this point. I know that the Saints have a really good rushing defense, but I would think they wait another week.
Fine. I mean, I got him.
And play him against the Giants.
Yes, it's a good matchup there. All right. On to the Miami Dolphins at the New York Jets. Joe Flacco's the quarterback for the Jets. Joe Flacco is back. Joe Flacco, by the way, revenge game. Do you know why it's a revenge game? Do you remember why?
Was he drafted by Miami? I have no clue.
No. If there was a game, I think 2016, you probably remember this hit. Remember Kiko Alonso's hit on Joe Flacco when he tried to take his head off?
Yeah.
It's a revenge game for that reason. They tried to take this man's head off, and he's going to go out there and beat the Dolphins 5 years later.
Stretch.
All right, he might, though. I'm taking the Jets, though. I'm not lying. I'm taking the Jets, and Miami's actually a -3, I forgot to say. So Miami -3, I'm taking the Jets. You're taking the Dolphins.
Yeah, no way. The Jets are another team that if you're in and around the New York, New Jersey area, the Jets have been in the media all week because they decided to not only bench Zach Wilson, which is okay if Zach Wilson's still not 100%, you know what, go with the backup. You don't want to hurt your 2nd overall pick even more. But they went with Joe Flacco, instead of Mike White. I think they were genuinely concerned that Mike White can go out there and win the football game,
No,
and
no,
then they would have to deal with the whole media BS the whole week that Mike White should start over Zach Wilson. I
no,
think that's why Joe
no.
Flacco is starting in this game. I honestly don't see the positive of starting Joe Flacco. Who knows? Mike White can go out and have another tremendous game like he did against the Bengals. If Joe Flacco does that, what value do you really have there? You don't have
A
a possible
win. You get a
future
win.
quarterback.
No.
My point being, the Jets are just not a great team. They've been in the media the whole week. There are starting to be questions about coaching and personnel, and their whole team is under question, while Miami just beat one of the better teams in the NFL, in the Baltimore Ravens, at home on Thursday night. They have confidence. Their defense is playing tremendous. If you look at those statistics, they're one of the best defenses in the NFL over the last 3 weeks. They're starting to look like last year's defense. They're locking up the pass. I just don't think the Jets are good enough. I think Miami can win this game by a touchdown. Miami has shown an ability to score points against bad defenses. That's what the New York Jets are. So I'm going to take the Miami Dolphins, and I would love to hear why you're going to take the Jets.
Well, let me ask you, because I disagreed, as you can see, based on my body language. You don't think Mike White being benched has anything to do with the fact he looked like he did not belong in the NFL last week? Has nothing to do with that?
No, obviously that's part of the consideration,
that's why,
and it helped this decision. But come on, Joe Flacco over Mike White. Do you agree with that? Joe Flacco got shut out 24-0 last year against the Dolphins. Is that who you want to go and throw out there? I think they wasted a 6th-round pick, and they want to show their team that they know what they're doing, so they're going to start a guy that they invested in. Okay, so that's what I think.
Was Joe Flacco a Jet last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, he came in and almost beat the Broncos, didn't he, on Thursday night last year?
Right.
Game at MetLife? Yeah, I mean.
In a totally different system with totally different coaches. This is not the same team.
He was a Jet. That's all I care about. Jet at MetLife. I thought Joe Flacco looked okay. Yeah, he led that touchdown drive to Elijah Moore. It was in garbage time, down 30, but stats count, you know? I don't think, like, when I saw the notification, I was driving, I saw that Joe Flacco was starting. I like wasn't really surprised. I was like, okay, like Mike White sucks. I don't know.
Come on,
we said this
surprised?
last week. No, not really. If I'm Robert Saleh and, like, you know, people are getting on my ass about the team not having enough wins, I'm looking at my quarterback room saying, who gives him the best chance to win? It's Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco's the veteran who can read defenses, and Mike White threw 4 interceptions. He should have had like 6. I mean, it was just an awful performance up and down. And I think Joe Flacco gives them the best chance to win. And I think the Jets actually win this game. I didn't want to say it, but I'm going to say it. The Jets win this game.
All right, nice. Yeah.
Clip
it.
Clip it.
Everybody clip it. Everybody clip it. Clip it.
I think the Jets beat the Dolphins in week
11
in 20.
I think they could cover. I don't think there's a chance that they win.
It's only 3 points. Why not win the whole thing?
Okay, fine. On to the next one. Let's go.
I didn't really give my reasons, though. I just like the idea of having the veteran quarterback here. I don't buy into Miami because they had one good game. I mean, whatever. I mean, their defense has been better. I can admit that, but I don't know. The Jets just got embarrassed. I feel like they'll bounce back. I still kind of believe in Robert Saleh here. I still think they want to play hard for him. So I don't know. I just think Miami's kind of a bad team, and I just think the Jets can hang with them, and if a few things go their way or even a couple things go their way, then hey, I think Joe Flacco's going to look fine. I think Joe Flacco might have like a 250 and 2 touchdown game, and we're going to be like, well,
is that enough?
Yes. No.
Okay.
Well, who's Miami's quarterback? He stinks.
What do you want from me? The guy has thrown over like 320 yards 3 times this year. He's been fine. I don't know what you want from me. He's playing the Jets. Grow up, Mike. Realize reality.
I don't know if it was the finger injury, but Tua looked like garbage last week, I must say. I'm sorry.
Oh, really?
It was the defense.
Garbage.
Yes.
Huh. That's interesting. I wonder how Daniel Jones would have played against the Ravens.
He probably has.
On to the next one.
No?
Speaking of Baltimore.
Whatever. Daniel Jones rent-free. All right, so on to the Baltimore. Stinks. Speaking of Baltimore, the Baltimore Ravens are at the Chicago Bears. The Bears are coming off a bye. Baltimore is a -4.5 on the road. This was the last game I picked because I had no idea who to take, but I went with you, unfortunately. We're both taking the Ravens here.
See, what Mike tends to do is when he doesn't know about a game, he looks at my pick and is like, okay, Andrew picked this guy. It's obviously going to be right. Or he just wants to be safe and doesn't want to lose another game to me. That could be the reason. Baltimore bounce back spot. I mean, why not? They're still a pretty good team, and they still run the AFC North at this point in the year. Had an embarrassing loss. But the attention was swayed away from them as soon as the Detroit Lions tied the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think this is a really big bounce back spot for them. I don't think Chicago is all that. I think they're going to struggle against a really good Baltimore Raven pass rush. I just think this is another one of those like high sack games for Justin Fields. He's going to be on the ground a lot. And I don't think he's going to be able to keep up with Baltimore because I do think that they're going to show up and they're going to play very, very good football this week. Lamar Jackson has played very well last week. You know what? You play one bad game, everybody starts judging you for that, not the 7 great games you played before that. I'm going to rely on Justin Fields getting on the ground a lot, and I'm going to take Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens winning by a touchdown. I think they're going to win by a touchdown.
I woke up feeling dangerous today, Andrew. I'm thinking about starting. I'm thinking about starting Justin Fields over Joe Burrow this week.
Wow.
I don't know if it's a good idea though. I mean, it's hourly where I'm 3-7. What the hell do I have to lose? But anyway, I am going. Yeah, I'm going with. It's funny actually. So I know no one cares, but in our fantasy league, with all our friends, the loser has to go to IHOP, 24-hour IHOP, sit there for 24 hours, and for every pancake you eat, it takes off an hour. So right now, I mean, I'm 3-7. You're 3-7. Your brother's 3-7. We have a very interesting race here to the end, and I think there might be a scenario where all 3 of us are eating pancakes on some random day.
That would be fun
in January. We'll definitely what's it called? Vlog? Is that when you record?
Yeah. It might actually be better with people there to do it with you.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, maybe we'll record that. I don't know. Anyway, where the hell are we? Baltimore. Yes, Baltimore. I mean, look, Justin Fields has looked better lately. The past 2 games, he's looked a lot better, actually. And they're starting to open up the offense, which is, the concerning part. And that's part of the reason why I was just going back and forth here. But you brought it up for a little bit yourself, is that Baltimore's pass rush is still good. And Justin Fields sometimes has a tendency to hold on to the ball for too long. Now, Justin Fields has used his legs a lot more in recent weeks. He's getting a lot more rushing yards. That does concern me. But good teams bounce back. And I don't think Baltimore is great, but I think they're good. So Baltimore should bounce back in this spot. It is a tough environment. And I do have a concern in the back of my mind because you think about the 2 games there were 2 games the Ravens, they were 1-1, but they should have lost to the Lions, who are a bad team. They found a way to contain Lamar Jackson. And they lost to the Dolphins, who are a bad team, and they found a way to contain Lamar Jackson. And the Bears' pass rush is still not that bad. So if they find a way to contain Lamar Jackson, it kind of concerns me. They get all-pro running back Latavius Murray back this week. I'm just kidding. He's not all-pro, but he might be their best running back. He's back this week. So we got something going for us here. Baltimore should bounce back. Maybe they win by 3 or something, but I think they win this game, so I'll just take them. And I don't love the 4.5, but screw it. We'll go with Baltimore. All right.
Nice.
On to the Houston Texans. They're at the Tennessee Titans, who are wicked hot right now. Tennessee's a -10, and I'm going to go with the Houston Texans, actually. You're going to go with the Titans.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care if I get this game wrong. I just don't know how to pick the Texans. You know what I mean? Like, I can't find a reason to pick the Texans. So why would I pick the Texans? I don't know. I do think it's a little strange that it's only 10 points because I think many consider the Titans to be one of the better teams in the NFL, and obviously Houston's going to be competing for the first overall pick this year. I don't know why it's 10 points, so maybe you're right with Houston here. I don't have a way to get a sense of how good this Texans team can be. So I'm just going to go with the Tennessee Titans. I think it's simple. I know Derrick Henry's not there, but I think they'll be able to figure it out. Houston's defense is really bad, so I think they'll be able to figure out and put up a lot of points here. And I don't know if the Texans can keep up because it's not like last year where the Titans scored a lot of points, right? But then their defense stunk. Like, their defense has been looking very good lately. Like, their defense has started to pick it up. The pass rush has been there. I don't know if the Texans' offensive line can contain it. So I'm going to go with the Titans here. It's fairly simple to me.
I'm going to pull the reverse card on you. Know why?
Why?
Because the Texans' defensive line has been damn good recently as well. I will say that. Okay. So we'll give both defensive lines credit. But my thing is, like, with this game, 10's a lot of points, as we know. But without Derrick Henry, Is Deonta Foreman and Adrian Peterson going to kill you on the ground? Like, I don't see that happening. I could be wrong, but as I
Probably not.
said, Houston's defensive line's been playing a lot better lately. And, you know, I do prefer Tyrod Taylor, who probably won't, you know, make any dumb decisions, hopefully, in this game. He had a bad pick against the Dolphins, I remember, but still, he has a track record of not doing stupid things. And hopefully they can find a way to move the ball on offense. That's the one problem I have. Like, I do kind of trust the Texans defense to put up a pretty decent fight in this game, which I may look stupid for if the Titans drop 38 on them. But, like, I still think they can hold them to, like, 24 points or so. And if that's the case, then all the Texans need is 14. And hopefully they can do that. Now, the Titans have played a lot better on defense. I will say that. But we did see last week in the first game without Julio Jones, A.J. Brown had a tough game. He had like, one catch or something? Like, he was not really the same A.J. Brown we've been
It's a
accustomed
good
to.
point. It's a solid
And
point.
if they have a corner and then shadow a safety on his side of the field and take him out of the game, you're going to force that Nick Westbrook-Akeen and who's the other dude? I don't know, like what's his name? Marquez Johnson or some other guy, you know, Jeff Swaim as well. Like, have those nobodies try to beat you. And I don't know, the Titans offense without Henry and Julio is not the same. And it's putting a lot on Tannehill's plate against a good pass rush. And we saw the Jets have a great pass rush against the Titans. I know this was like a couple months ago, but it was kind of a similar game where the Titans were heavy favorites, but the pass rush was so overwhelming for Ryan Tannehill, and the Jets found a way to upset that game. So I don't think the Texans win this game, but I can see a scenario where this is a close game. So I'll take the Texans there. May not be the popular pick, but screw it. All right. This one, by the way, very tough game to predict. I still have no clue who's going to win. Cincinnati at Las Vegas, two teams that are each 5-4. Both teams have lost 2 games in a row now. So these teams were each 5-2 at one point. They were looking great. Mm-hmm. I remember the days. I'm old enough to remember when the Bengals were in first place in the AFC, you know, just like a month ago. Then they lost to the Jets, and everything's been downhill ever since. They're coming off a bye, though. Cincinnati is a -1 on the road. I'm taking Las Vegas, and you're going to go with Cincinnati.
Yeah, it's honestly either way, right? -1, it's a pick 'em essentially. Yeah, I'm just going to go with Cincinnati because I do think that at their best, Cincinnati is a better team than the Raiders. And a lot has happened to the Raiders so far this year. I think their play-for mentality has kind of run out at this point after that blowout loss against the Chiefs following a loss to the New York Giants. I just think Cincinnati has more to play for. They look at that division and like, we're right there. And I know that the Raiders are close too. The Raiders are also right there. But after a terrible, terrible loss to a division opponent last week, I just don't know if Las Vegas has the confidence to really score as many points as I think that the Bengals are going to score this week. I think the Bengals score 30+, and I think it's hard for the Raiders to keep it going. I think Cincinnati has kind of fallen off a cliff in a sense that people were starting to take them seriously, and as soon as people took them seriously, they stopped playing well. And now people aren't taking them as seriously anymore, so I think this is a bounce-back spot for them. They're coming off a bye, I believe, because I don't remember mentioning their name last week. So there's also that. I just look at Cincinnati's offense. I think they're really, really good. I think their defense has been better than everybody expected so far this year. So I'm going to take Cincinnati. I've taken them a lot this year. I feel pretty good.
They are coming off a bye. If you'd actually listened to me for once, you know, I did say
I heard
that.
you.
Did you?
No. I guess not. You said it. Wait, you said it before the –
I threw it in there. Yeah, I was just making sure. Right. Okay. Yeah, it's like such a close game to me. Like, I'm thinking about – it's just the offensive side of the ball here. It's like they're both very close. They are just high passing volume teams that do well at putting up points on the board. And the one concern I have with the Raiders is they have not looked the same offensively since the Henry Ruggs incident. So can they bounce back from that? Deshaun Jackson, your old friend, makes his first catch and turns the ball over. And I was laughing to myself because I'm not a fan of his, obviously. But that man made me cry once. I'm not going to forget that. But, yeah, I mean, the Raiders have a really good pass rush. That's why I went with them here. And Cincinnati pass blocking for their offensive line is not that great. So, you know, with the Raiders having the Max Crosbys and the Yannick Ngakoue type guys, I feel like they can get enough pressure here. I mean, you did say you feel that the Bengals will put up over 30 in this game. I will bet you it does not happen right now if you want to go there. But
nah, relax.
30 is a lot, though. I don't see that happening, you know. So it is a home game for the Raiders. And I think the Raiders, they played a road game with the Giants. They played a tough in-division game against the Chiefs. They should be able to get back on track here in a more winnable game, I think, against Cincinnati. So I don't know. I don't trust Zach Taylor as a head coach to just have some awesome game plan here. He has not really earned my respect yet as a football fan. So I don't know. Las Vegas, I don't like that team, but they'll probably find a way to win this game, hopefully. So I'll go with them here. I don't feel great about it, but it's just like a coin flip, basically. All right, we have the Dallas Cowboys at the Kansas City Chiefs. I wish this was prime time, but it's a 4:00 game or 4:25. KC at home is a -2.5 here. I'm going with the Chiefs, and you're going with the Cowboys.
I'm surprised you're going with the Chiefs. Well, I mean, not really, because you haven't really been that high on Dallas all year long. And I'm not surprised that you're down in them again. This Dallas team is really good. Like, they are really good. And I understand, all right, that they lost to the Broncos. And everybody, again, wants to look at that game and ignore all the other games where they absolutely dominated their opponents, including last week, by the way. Yeah, you know what?
Who'd
Kansas
they beat,
City.
though?
What?
Who'd they beat? The trash Falcons?
Well, yeah, sure, but at the same time, they've competed in games with good teams like the Bucs, and Kansas City's not that great. And if they didn't blow out, absolutely demolish the Raiders last week, I think they would have been underdogs in this game. So I'm going to play it how it is. I think Dallas is the better team. I think they've shown that thus far. They're way more consistent than Kansas City. They score a lot of points offensively. And their defense has not been half bad either. Kansas City's defense has been playing well as of late, better than people thought they would, I should say. But they're not a good defense. That's the bottom line. I think Dallas wins this game by at least a field goal. I'm pretty confident with this one. I don't know why they're favorites, Kansas City, but I'm glad they are, so I could take Dallas.
I choose to believe that the Chiefs are back. I do think that. I think they
All right.
are going to win this game, and they are the home team. So I do like that, of course, and that tough atmosphere there. And it's going to be a very hyped up game. And I just think the Chiefs figured some things out last week. I think they finally reached a point where Mahomes was trusting other guys and not staring down the same two receivers, being Kelsey and Tyreek Hill, although, they both had big games, but still. He was passing to Darrell Williams and passing to Byron Pringle and giving them some deep shots and not really second-guessing it. And let's be honest, Dallas' secondary is beatable. Their defense has been a lot better this year, but they are beatable. And if you give Mahomes enough time, then I think Mahomes will find a way to have another great game in this one. So I choose to believe the Chiefs have figured something out here. I do have concerns, of course, but the Chiefs' defense has been better. I wanted to look up their recent games here, but I feel like they've been holding teams to like a respectable amount of points here. They held the Giants to 17, I believe. Then they held who'd they play last week? They played
team,
the Raiders. They held the Raiders to 14 points. Well, Jason Garrett's one of the best play callers in the league, so that's it's just a great job right there.
We do know that.
They held the Jordan Love Packers to 7. Like, they've been better recently. You know what I mean? They've been under 17 points on defense the past 3 games. It's not the best opponents. I get it, but they've been better. Maybe they're figuring some stuff out there. So I don't know. It should be a close game, of course, but I like the Chiefs at home here. If this was at Dallas, I'm taking Dallas, but the fact that it's at Kansas City, outside game, for a dome team, I'll go with Kansas City there. I don't feel great about it, but
it's an interesting game. And I think this is probably the most important game the Chiefs have played all year. I know they've played some really, really good teams so far this year, but they finally are starting to convince people like Mike that they're back and they need to go out there and prove it. So I'm excited. This is going to be a good game, but I think Dallas comes out on top. And I like that if Dallas wins by a point or a late field goal, which I really could see in Arrowhead, I like that I cover there.
I don't think it's called Arrowhead anymore, is it?
Was I just really ignorant right there? And
I
guess so,
forget, because I was streaming the Giants Chiefs game and I was calling it Arrowhead, and it's like not called that.
Somebody kept correcting you?
No, and now it's called, what the hell is this company?
Geha Field.
What is GEHA?
Geha? I don't know. What do you want from me? I don't know.
I couldn't tell you. I don't know, but it's
This
Gaha.
is Arrowhead Stadium.
Fine, whatever. Fine, it's Arrowhead. But maybe, I don't know, maybe Arrowhead was canceled. I have no idea. Anyway, Sunday Night Football. I wish that game was Sunday Night Football, because now we have to watch broken finger Russ against the third string for the Cardinals potentially. So
Yeah,
Arizona Cardinals at the Seattle Seahawks. Arizona, though, is a -2.5 on the road. I don't think Kyler Murray's playing, and I think DeAndre Hopkins might not play again because they have their bye next week and they might just rest him again. So with that being said, I'm taking Seattle, and you're going to go with Arizona. So tell us about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I really couldn't get a sense of this game because every time I pick the Seahawks, they stink, and they really stink. So, but every time I pick the Cardinals, they also seem to like fluster and not really play well. But they are getting a field goal here on the road. I do think they can somehow manage a field goal because Seattle's offense has just not been good this year. They really haven't, and I know Russell Wilson had that finger problem, and last week he's coming off of that finger problem, didn't really practice that much, and it showed, right? He scored 0 points for the first time in his career. But
it wasn't my middle
but
finger.
I think Arizona's defense can get some pressure on him and can force this to be low scoring, and I think Arizona can win by a field goal. So I'm going to take Arizona. I don't feel great about it. I wouldn't recommend betting it, but I'm going to take the better team, and that is Arizona.
Yeah, who's the Cardinals quarterback? Because I know that Colt McCoy might be out too.
It's Beathard?
Chris Streveler. Beathard's
Who
on
does
the
CJ Beathard play for?
He's on the Jaguars now, isn't he?
Oh, right.
Mr. CJ Beathard, as they call
him.
He
is.
But yeah, I will go with Seattle here. I do think they're a bit more healthy, as bad as that sounds, and I think this is a game like just going based on air yards. They were airing the ball out a lot to Tyler Lockett. They just missed one at the end in that game. Metcalf was getting deep shots as well, and I just feel like they'll finally connect on those this week. And I do think Seattle can run the ball better. I think Pete Carroll came out and said he wants to do that today or maybe yesterday, but I saw that quote. So Chris Carson could be back soon. It could be this week, hopefully. We'll see about that. But even if it's Alex Collins, I feel good about that. And I just think Russell Wilson, as the weeks go on, will get healthier and healthier. And they're playing a Cardinals team that just got annihilated at home by the Panthers, who are not that great. So maybe I'm overreacting, but we can also overreact to the fact that Seattle got shut out. So it depends which side you want to overreact to. And I choose to believe that Seattle has a better chance at bouncing back than the injured Cardinals do. So we'll see, but I feel
fair enough.
Seahawks right now. Yeah, it just depends who you believe in more. Here we go. Main event, New York Football Giants at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. No respect here. Tampa Bay is a -11. Give me the Giants.
Really?
You're taking Tampa, I saw. Yeah.
Really? Mm-hmm. Well, okay, what would have been your seat? Like, what would the spread have been for you to pick? Because all week long you were saying, huge bounce back spot for the Bucs. They're going to go out there and crush them.
7.5.
Really?
Yeah. Did you watch it? Did you watch Giants Bucks last year?
I did.
Yeah, Patrick Graham had Tom Brady looking stupid out there.
I'm really happy you brought that up because I think that is totally irrelevant.
What?
I think it's really irrelevant. Yeah. Well, look at Patrick Graham last year. He was so awesome. Why don't we look at Patrick Graham this year? How awesome has he been?
He's been better.
He's better as of late. Right, but last year he was awesome. He was this guy that the Giants couldn't let go of. This guy that the Giants were so scared of getting a head coaching job. It's just if you want to go off of last year, let's go off of last year. The Giants were bad, and the Tampa Bay won the Super Bowl. So you want to go off of last year? We'll go off of last year.
We also lost to Tampa by 2 points. And let me say this to call you out, Mr. Hypocrite over there. Weren't you the one saying Miami's defense looked great the past 3 games? Wasn't that you?
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm not taking it into consideration, but how many times does Tom Brady lose to the same team or struggle against the same team? Tom Brady has a chance, like you said, to go up against Patrick Graham.
The Saints.
And dominate.
He's lost to the Saints like 3 times in a row in the regular season. That's who it is. The Saints. And we beat the Saints. So the Giants beat the Saints.
All right, I'll let you talk. I'm going to take Tampa Bay -11. I think they're a huge bounce back favorite here, and I really do think they go out there and they win a big game on prime time. Eli and Peyton will be watching, will be lurking, and I think Tampa Bay pulls it out by at least 12 points. I'll let you talk. I'm going to go get something real quick, and then I'll be back.
I hope there's a lot of good Eli jokes in that game. All right, well, since I'm talking to nobody now, let's just talk about this Giants-Bucks game real quick. So as I said, I think that Patrick Graham, the Giants defensive coordinator, has been a lot better lately. And the Giants defense in the red zone has been tremendous the past few weeks. And, the Buccaneers are not the healthiest team right now. Rob Gronkowski may not play. Antonio Brown might play. He's trending towards playing, it seems like, but he might not play. So there's that. And I just trust the Giants defense a lot more right now. Now, the problem I have in this game is that this is going to be a huge Daniel Jones game. I will say that because the Bucs run defense is still very good. Saquon Barkley's in his first game back. Devontae Booker. And this will be a game where Daniel Jones has to go up against an injured secondary and possibly have a career game. Now, if you remember last year, as I brought that game up, last year, Daniel Jones may have had the worst game of his career against Tampa. If Daniel Jones played half decent in that game, the Giants probably win. So this time, Daniel Jones has to bounce back against this Tampa defense that he very much struggled against last year. But I choose to believe, I do know that Daniel Jones has made strides as a player, and I choose to believe that they will be competitive on the road in Tampa Bay.
So let me get this straight.
Yes.
You believe that it's impossible for Tom Brady to go out there and beat Patrick Graham because they struggled last year, but you think that Daniel Jones will play well despite having one of the worst games of his career there last year. And I will give you this. He did beat them in his first career game, Tampa Bay Bucks, which we do remember that.
2019, yeah. Jameis Winston days, yeah.
I just think it's a little unfair you for make one assumption, but, not make the other. Because, come on. A blowout spot here. As much as me, like that could very well happen. You could see it. I know you can.
But I saw that with the Chiefs game too. I said, I could see a scenario where the Chiefs win 31-17. Oh, there's Shaq Barrett. Didn't you win that in like a raffle or something?
Yeah, so I got a mystery box from, I forget which company it was, and it was a signed jersey, and that's
the mystery box.
Before he was like the Super Bowl champion, like awesome player. So it's worth more now.
I haven't had a mystery box since I used to play COD Zombies, and I would occasionally get ray guns, and it was cool.
I'll get you one for Christmas. You want a mystery baseball, signed baseball mystery box? They're fun. I have Austin Meadows and Mike Soroka up there.
Isn't that the torn Achilles guy?
Yeah.
That's a shame. I mean, yeah, I'll take one. Like, how good are these players? Like, how bad does it get? Can I get like a minor league guy? Like, what's
no. They're all professional, but it stems from, I would say, like the best you can get is probably like Mike Trout. But are the chances of that is like, you know what I mean? The worst you can get is probably Jose Canseco.
That's all right.
My friend got Jose Canseco.
Really? Oh, so it could be older players too.
Yeah, he got Lou Pinera or Lou Pinella. And,
Panera bread, Lou Panera. Look at that. He must taste good.
Yeah.
I mean, my luck, I'll probably get Aaron Hicks, and I'll just throw the ball away.
He's an Aaron Hicks hater, guys.
Come
on. Aaron Hicks hater. When he got engaged, he was making fun of his fiance, Mike. Mike was making fun of his fiance.
I was not.
What kind of woman is that if she would get engaged to Aaron Hicks?
I don't think I said that.
What a disappointment!
I didn't make fun of his woman. What did I say? I was just like F Aaron Hicks. I did not make fun of his girl. I would not.
God.
I am not that shallow of a person. Although I do say some bad stuff sometimes.
We started this episode off with Justin Verlander, and now you're disrespecting the man who hit a grand slam off of Justin Verlander in the playoffs. How dare you? And I know you want to go watch your Nets game, and it's probably on right now because it's 7:40. So I'll leave you with this, ladies and gentlemen, and I would like you to end the video like this. No outro. I'll do the outro.
Bye, everyone.
Okay. When everybody comes back here next week, if you come back, I don't know. This episode has been really random. I wouldn't be surprised if you don't. Hush.
Mute.
If the Eagles win, okay, and the Giants lose, and we have to talk about this Eagles-Giants game next week, then I will be in attendance. And by the way, Mike doesn't go to these games because he doesn't want to miss Red Zone.
Damn right.
I will be talking a lot of you-know-what. I'll be wearing Eagle jersey, Eagle hat. It is game week, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you for watching the Spread Pick'em show. This has been Mike and Andrew. We'll see you in week 12.
I have to rebuttal real quick. You do realize if you win that game, you're going to be like 4-6 or 4-7 at that point. Like, what is there to brag about?
What are you talking about?
I'm just saying, like, let's say the Eagles lose this week as we both expect. Then
Well, no, I said if the Eagles win and the Giants lose, and now
Mm,
like because that game gets pretty big for the
okay.
Eagles at least. Like they need to beat those bad teams.
Blake
Oh,
Griffin just crossed some guy, but he airballed the three. All right. Anyway, I gotta watch the Nets. That'll do it for this video. Hope everyone enjoyed this crazy episode, and we'll talk to you guys next time.